Welcome back to a new episode of YouTube Art School. No time to waste for an intro. We have 60 art tips to go through. Let's get right into it. Classes in session, pay attention. Process matters. Always draw in levels. Big details, medium details, small details, in that order. This works for anything that you draw or paint. Don't shade with black. Black shadows are extremely rare in nature. The ambient light, the bounce light in the environment will always lighten and tint them slightly, so do the same. Use color harmonies as a starting point if you don't know what colors to use. Complementary colors, for example, are easy to work with and almost always look great. Balance your colors for whatever you draw. Always have a mix of cool and warm colors. All color harmonies follow that rule for a reason. Always tint your Terminators the color of blood when drawing skin unless you want it to look dead. It's the secret to believable skin. When shading, practice using a soft brush and vary its size to get smoother results. You can literally do anything with a basic soft brush and you'll avoid unwanted visible brush strokes that make your shading look muddy. Use selections to get clean hard edges when shading. That paired with the soft brush is a killer combo. Use a very small set of brushes and get very familiar with them, rather than hoarding millions of them. If you want a good starting point, you can get my own custom brush set that I use for everything. It's free. Get it with the link in the video description. Consider the light source when shading your drawings. No light equals no shadows. Start to practice on simple volumes and build up to more intricate drawings. Try gradient maps to color your grayscale drawings. It's mind-blowingly effective. You'll be able to use that in clips of your paint in Photoshop, and then Procreate has version 2, but it's not great. When drawing digitally, don't use too many layers. Work to improve your workflow instead. Most projects shouldn't require more than a dozen. When drawing anything, start with the simplified volumes first before anything else. Volumes like cylinders, spheres, and boxes. Construct your characters or environments using those, and then add details. Practice gesture drawings often if you like to draw characters. It's the most important skill to get good fast as a character artist. Use liquify to make small adjustments at the end without having to redraw anything. Always comes in clutch. Learn to make custom brushes like this trailing stem brush. Creating custom brushes is quick to learn and has a massive impact on your art style, and also speed. Practice using longer brush strokes instead of short ones. Looks better and also improves your confidence. Don't be too lazy to draw over your line art for a second or third time to get a cleaner result. All pros do it. Line weight is important. Use the thickness of your lines to signify the importance of what you're drawing. For small details, use thinner lines, and then for important like silhouette defining details, use bolder lines. Don't over-render everything. Let the lines suggest the details. Our brain is easily capable of filling in the blanks when we look at this, for example. When designing anything like a full character all the way down to a simple prop, keep the rule of thirds in mind. It helps make anything more aesthetic. Drawing fan art is a great way to soak up some design ideas that you can then combine differently to create your own designs. Always carry a cheap sketch pad and a mechanical pen wherever you go so you can always draw whenever you feel like it. And because it's cheap, you won't feel like it needs to be a masterpiece. Use a variety of materials to increase the appeal of your art, like hard metallic surfaces, wet surfaces, dry and wrinkly surfaces, soft fabric-like surfaces. The mix of it all is really exciting for the eye. Don't overwhelm yourself planning a really complicated drawing. Start with something super simple instead and add to it later if you like where it's going. Learn to draw characters in idle poses before trying complicated dynamic poses. It's easier to get the proportions down that way. Practice drawing a few simple hand poses really well instead of practicing to draw weird poses that are really complicated. You'll use the basic poses way more often anyways. It helps to draw characters naked before you dress them up to make sure that your proportions don't get messed up. Perspective seems to scare a lot of artists at first, but it's a lot simpler than it seems, and it's immensely useful to know. Not only for environment artists, but character artists too. When learning anatomy, focus on the bigger muscles first and learn their names. It's counterintuitive, but it'll help you memorize it much faster. We share about 90 to 95% of our anatomy with most quadruped animals. So if you can draw characters relatively well, you should be able to pick up animal drawing super fast. Give it a shot. And if you need help with any of what we've seen so far though, check the rest of the channel. I have videos that go into much more depth on each topic. And if you're looking for more structure, a lot more depth, an awesome community on Discord, well, take a look at my art program with the link in the video description. I have a massive sale going on and you'll be able to pick up the program way cheaper than usual until the end of the month before I increase the price. All right, we have half of the tips down already. The second half will be more about learning art and lifestyle. So here we go. 31. Have an art goal. It really doesn't matter what or how big, but aim for something or you'll never go anywhere. And break down big goals into a bunch of smaller, more achievable ones that you can imagine yourself actually doing. 32. Always focus on the fun. To improve, usually we gotta study and it's not always fun, but find a balance where most of what you do is fun. Don't just study all the time or you're guaranteed to burn out. 33. Study with a purpose. Be very deliberate with what you study. Have a plan for it. Otherwise, it's just too easy to get distracted. 34. Your environment affects your state of mind. Try to do art in environments that make you happy just being in them, and usually that's what you'll also get to associate with your art. 35. Your approach also affects your state of mind. When you stop drawing when you're in a bad mood, frustrated, that's what you'll get to associate with your art. Stop while you're having fun instead. 36. You learn faster when you study with the goal of teaching it to someone, like way faster. It's science. 37. Observe things, don't just see them. Artists observe, others just see. Always be curious and you'll be rewarded as an artist. 38. Don't just practice more. Find methods that fit you personally or things that you need to fix about your approach. More of what's not working won't work any better. 39. Copying other artists is perfectly okay if you're doing it to learn, not for clicks. There's a lot to learn by seeing skilled artists at work. 40. Don't focus on your art style. Your style is simply a symptom of you getting better. It'll find you, not the other way around. 41. Seek feedback. We learn best from our mistakes, so ask around for help identifying them if you can't do so yourself just yet. 42. Share your art with a community. Most people tend to stay far more motivated when they don't do something in isolation. 43. Don't compare yourself to others, compare yourself to you from last year. 44. Art degrees are worthless. Only about 14% of working professional artists have a formal education. Everyone else got there without. It's never a requirement to find work, and I wish more people understood that. 45. Get high quality help instead. There's a lot of it out there, and it's often very affordable, like my art program. 46. If you feel you're not learning fast enough, your approach is likely the problem, not your brain. 47. Focus on fundamentals if you feel like you're plateauing. Most people don't, and they definitely should. 48. You actually store memories, like what you've learned in a day, while you sleep, in deep sleep. So get good quality sleep or remain a dummy. 49. Healthy body, healthy mind. A lot of the negative feelings / emotions we get are often directly linked with the lack of exercise. It has a huge impact. 50. Learn to hold a pen the right way to avoid problems later. Specifically, relax your grip. You'll thank me later. 51. Get a good chair, or your back will make you suffer later in life. You might think it's an old person thing to say, but your age will give you a healthy dose of reality much sooner than you imagine. 52. When drawing, take lots of breaks from sitting down and holding the same position for a long time. 53. Don't stare at the screen for too long. Let your eye muscles relax often. Follow the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, look at objects 20 feet away for 20 seconds. 54. Practice every day. It doesn't have to be drawing though. Just practicing observation counts too. 55. Work in your comfort zone for the most part. Big challenges can often crush your motivation when you can't complete them, but smaller challenges you can more easily overcome keep rewarding you with good feels. 56. There is such a thing as bad practice, like drawing from imagination only. Study from reference. You can't get better by only drawing from imagination. That's impossible. 57. Don't be too protective of your art. It's okay to discard something and not finish it. And if you really like a piece, don't let that get in the way of making big changes that might be necessary to make it better. 58. Shorts, TikTok, video games, all of that is crushing our attention spans. The more you get distracted by that stuff, instead of putting in the work early in life, the more you'll struggle later in life. 59. Participate in art challenges, like my Learn to Draw in 30-Day challenge. I'll put the link in the description. It always helps you push a little more than you normally would. And 60. Learn to love art for what it is, for the process of it, before deciding to do that as a career. You really need to love it or you'll never make it. And that's gonna be it for this week's class. Woo! That was it. Let me know in the comments. Share it with art friends if it helps, and don't be late for next week's class. You won't want to miss it.